Amid the swirling dust and echoing war drums of the Second Punic War, the unrelenting Carthaginian general Hannibal Barca prepared a bold new offensive in southern Italy. Rome's legions, weary from prior defeats at Trebia, Trasimene, and Cannae, now faced a cunning shift in strategy aimed at seizing one of their prized ports, Tarentum. Could Hannibal's daring plan realign alliances and crack Rome's iron grip on the region? Or would the city's defenders prove too resolute for even Carthage's master tactician? Join us for this in-depth 2-hour odyssey into the Battle of Tarentum, 212 BC, where political intrigue, intricate maneuvers, and Hannibal's brilliance collided to reshape the war's destiny. Welcome to Hannibal's Gambit, the Battle of Tarentum, 212 BC. Across these extensive chapters, we'll explore one of the most audacious Carthaginian operations of the Second Punic War. A campaign that showcased Hannibal's adaptability after earlier seismic victories. We'll reveal how shifting loyalties, cunning infiltration, and Rome's precarious southern alliances primed the city of Tarentum for capture. Expect a deep dive into Hannibal's mindset as he navigated Italy's complex geography and political mosaic, forging alliances among disgruntled city-states. We'll trace the internal friction in Tarentum itself, the undercurrents of dissatisfaction with Roman rule, and the elaborate subterfuges used by the Carthaginian general's agents. From Hannibal's pragmatic negotiation tactics to the actual infiltration of Tarentum's walls, you'll experience the tension that gripped southern Italy on the eve of a pivotal moment. If you've been fascinated by Hannibal's earlier triumphs, Cannae, Trasimene, Trebia, prepare to see how the Carthaginian genius shifted from direct confrontation to strategic infiltration. Whether you're a dedicated history buff or newly curious about Rome's greatest adversary, this documentary aims to capture every thrill of the events leading to Tarentum's betrayal and subsequent Carthaginian occupation. Brace yourself for an epic, scene-by-scene chronicle of cunning warfare and high-stakes power play that threatened Rome's southern flank like never before. Against the backdrop of 212 BC, Hannibal Barca eyed the map of Italy with intense scrutiny. His previous victories had established him as a formidable force, yet the Roman Republic refused to collapse. Instead, the Senate reformed its armies, creating fresh legions to replace the ones decimated at Cannae. This resilience, while admirable, had left Rome's resources stretched thin across multiple fronts. To exploit this, Hannibal sought a spark in southern Italy, a region of Hellenistic cities often holding tenuous loyalty to Rome. Among these was Tarentum, a coastal city of Greek origin rich in maritime trade and situated at a strategic location on the Gulf of Taranto. Its harbor, one of the most coveted in the region, ensured control over supply routes and influence along the Adriatic Sea. Although nominally allied with Rome, Tarentum simmered with internal strife. Many of its Greek aristocrats resented Roman oversight, and rumors abounded that Carthaginian envoys had already begun courting discontented elites. By opening a new offensive here, Hannibal hoped not merely for another battlefield triumph, but rather a psychological and logistical coup, securing a major port that could facilitate reinforcements from Carthage and disrupt Rome's maritime commerce. As the Carthaginian general traveled through Lucania and Apulia, he forged or reaffirmed alliances with local Italic tribes, reinforcing the notion that Rome's grip on the south was anything but absolute. As we delve deeper, we'll reveal how Hannibal's network of spies and diplomatic envoys paved the path for infiltration. Tarentum's internal tensions would become the pivot on which the next phase of the war hinged, setting the scene for a campaign that tested not only Hannibal's cunning, but Rome's enduring determination to maintain its hold over the prized Greek city. Within Tarentum's marble-lined streets, tension broiled like a pot on the verge of boiling over. On one hand, a Roman garrison maintained an imposing presence, reminding everyone of the city's official allegiance. On the other, segments of the populace, notably the pro-Greek faction among the aristocracy, whispered of Carthaginian victories and how Hannibal offered a more favorable arrangement for local autonomy. Some believed that the heavy taxes and forced conscription demanded by Rome had grown intolerable, fueling secret discontent that begged for an alternative. Carthaginian agents, adept at sowing dissent, seized these opportunities. They gathered in wine shops and private villas, forging ties with Tarentine youths chafing under Roman rule. Gold changed hands under candlelit corners, and promises of retribution or reward circulated among conspirators. A handful of Tarentine families, incensed by Roman arrogance, began channeling crucial inside information, gate schedules, guard rotations, and the mood of the public to Carthaginian liaisons. Still, Tarentum remained uncertain. Other citizens valued the stability Rome provided, wary of Carthaginian pledges that might turn ephemeral once Hannibal departed. The local Roman commander, vigilant for signs of sedition, occasionally staged public displays of force, marching legionaries through the city or hosting official banquets praising Roman Tarentine cooperation. These measures, ironically, only hardened the resolve of those who saw them as acts of intimidation. By late 213 BC, Hannibal's network inside Tarentum had grown extensive enough to orchestrate a major infiltration. Through coded messages and stealthy nighttime deliveries, the Carthaginian general arranged a pincer approach. Part of his army would quietly position itself outside the city, while sympathetic Tarentines would compromise the gates at the opportune moment. Thus, the seeds of a formidable conspiracy took firm root, and the stage was set for a daring coup that would reverberate through Rome's southern territories. While his spies and collaborators worked inside Tarentum, Hannibal navigated the rugged landscapes of Apulia and Calabria with methodical caution. His aim was twofold: keep the Roman legions guessing about his true intentions and quietly mass enough force near Tarentum to strike decisively when the city's gates were compromised. To achieve this, he executed feint movements against minor Roman outposts, small-scale raids that prompted local tribunes to send alarmed messages north. Meanwhile, the main Carthaginian body carefully advanced by night, occupying scattered hill camps that overlooked key roads leading to Tarentum. Hannibal's logistic prowess became evident here. Even after years of campaigning in Italy, his army remained disciplined and loyal, thanks to equitable distribution of spoils, negotiated alliances with local tribes, and the enduring mystique of his leadership. Numidian cavalry, essential for rapid strikes, patrolled the perimeter, intercepting Roman scouts and ensuring secrecy about the Carthaginian approach. Light infantry from Iberia and local Italian allies, Bruttians, Lucanians, bolstered Hannibal's numeric strength, adding to the sense that Carthage's cause might indeed be unstoppable. During this phase, Hannibal also cultivated relationships with Tarentine exiles who had already fled Roman oversight. They provided fresh intelligence on guard rotations, the morale of Roman soldiers, and the willingness of certain Tarentine gatekeepers to cooperate for a price. Every detail woven into Hannibal's plan hinted at an impending stealth operation rather than an open-field confrontation. By adopting this approach, he minimized the risk of a pitched battle in which the heavily reinforced Roman garrisons could stand strong behind city walls. As the Carthaginian columns closed in, night marches intensified. Under stars, or the occasional flicker of torchlight, the bulk of Hannibal's force inched toward Tarentum's outskirts, awaiting the signal from their co-conspirators within. Rome's attention, for its part, remained scattered across multiple theaters, lulled into a false sense of security that, for the moment, Tarentum was just another city under the Roman aegis. The trap was nearly set. In the chill darkness of 212 BC, the moment Hannibal had meticulously prepared for arrived. Inside Tarentum, hidden among the city's labyrinthine streets, allied citizens moved into position. Key watchmen, bribed and sworn to secrecy, allowed small squads of Carthaginian infiltrators to slip past unsuspecting Roman patrols. Using suppressed signals, these infiltrators converged on strategic points, gatehouses, armories, and critical choke points along the city walls. Simultaneously, Hannibal's main force waited in hushed anticipation outside Tarentum's fortress-like ramparts. Once word came that the infiltration was successful, Carthaginian troops advanced under cover of midnight, guided by Tarentine conspirators. The city gates, crucially under the watch of compromised guards, swung open to a wedge of Carthaginian spearmen. Bloodshed erupted as Roman sentries discovered the breach, but confusion ran rampant. Friend and foe clashed in narrow corridors, illuminated by sporadic torchlight. Sporadic alarms rang out. Some Tarentines actively aided Hannibal's men, pointing out Roman strongpoints or distributing extra weapons. Others, loyal to Rome, roused themselves to mount desperate resistance, only to realize that the infiltration was far too advanced to halt. In a matter of hours, large segments of the city fell under Carthaginian control. Hannibal, at the forefront of the main column, directed forces to secure Tarentum's central forum and the harbor district, vital for controlling supply lines and preventing Roman reinforcements from landing by sea. By dawn, Tarentum's local Roman garrison found itself either slain, captured, or forced to retreat into a fortified citadel within the city, which remained briefly out of Carthaginian grasp. Yet the broader victory was undeniable. Hannibal had performed the near impossible, seizing one of Rome's key ports without launching a costly siege. The psychological blow to Rome reverberated across southern Italy. The Carthaginian banner, emblazoned with the sign of Tanit, now fluttered over Tarentum's majestic battlements, heralding a new reality in the region. The morning following Tarentum's dramatic fall brought both elation and urgency to Hannibal's camp. Overnight, the Carthaginian leader had dealt a colossal blow to Roman prestige. By capturing the city that had long served as a southern bastion. Yet, his triumph was incomplete. A pocket of Roman resistance still clung to Tarentum's fortified citadel, an imposing structure perched on a strategic high point. Unless Hannibal neutralized this last stronghold, the city would remain precariously divided, and Rome's capacity to strike back would persist. Swiftly, Hannibal allocated contingents to encircle the citadel, preventing supplies and reinforcements from reaching it. Tarentine collaborators aided by providing knowledge of concealed tunnels and storerooms. Within a day, a partial siege was in effect, with Carthaginian archers and slingers manning newly raised barricades. Meanwhile, Hannibal parleyed with Tarentine leaders, assuring them that, aside from the Roman loyalists, the city's populace would be spared harm. This approach fostered local goodwill, at least among the factions who had facilitated the Carthaginian takeover. Rome's reaction was swift and furious. Alarmed at losing a major port, the Senate dispatched legates to gather fresh troops from neighboring regions. Calls for additional legions echoed through central Italy. Some senators advocated a direct march south, hoping to trap Hannibal within Tarentum's walls. Others worried that such a maneuver would leave the capital vulnerable if Hannibal decided to slip away and launch another unpredictable strike. The political wrangling in Rome led to an impasse. Should they attempt to retake Tarentum immediately, or focus on containing Hannibal's new foothold until more forces were raised? As the Carthaginian siege of the citadel wore on, minor skirmishes flared nightly along the perimeter. Yet the fortress's Roman garrison held resolute, anticipating that the Senate would soon mobilize a rescue. Hannibal, for his part, recognized that Tarentum's true value lay in quickly consolidating the city's resources: food, ships, and manpower. The events unfolding at Tarentum signaled a high-stakes shift in the war. Beyond mere conquest, Hannibal had seized a moral victory, demonstrating to other Italian states that Rome's control could be challenged, even in a heavily garrisoned city. The protracted standoff at Tarentum's citadel wore on for months, each day reminding Rome that Hannibal's cunning had not dimmed since Cannae. Although the Carthaginians faced challenges, holding the city while sustaining a blockade on the fortress, the psychological effect on southern Italy was immense. Nearby city-states and tribes, previously hesitating to break from Roman alliances, suddenly saw evidence that Carthage could deliver on its promises of emancipation from Roman rule. Rebellions, and desertions trickled in from unexpected corners, complicating the Senate's grip on the region. Yet Hannibal's operation at Tarentum also showcased the strategic transformation of his campaign, where once he relied heavily on direct battle, ambushes, double envelopments, pitched warfare, he now embraced infiltration, subterfuge, and localized uprisings to erode Roman power from within. Some historians would later debate if the resources spent on Tarentum ultimately diverted Hannibal from launching a decisive blow at Rome itself. Nonetheless, Hannibal's success in capturing Tarentum stood as a testament to his unrelenting adaptability. For Rome, the fiasco in Tarentum spurred new reforms and a hardening of attitudes. The idea that Hannibal might coax entire cities away from the Republic threatened the Senate's blueprint for victory. Soon, Rome deployed more robust intelligence networks, restructured internal defenses, and refined a policy of punishing disloyal communities. The war's southern theater became a battleground of espionage, alliances, and sieges, culminating in an ever-tighter Roman strategy to contain Hannibal in the region. Although Carthage would eventually lose the Second Punic War, the Battle of Tarentum, 212 BC, etched itself into the annals of cunning operations. Hannibal's infiltration showcased how an indomitable general, even outnumbered and far from home, could harness local resentments to deliver a crippling blow to a mighty republic. The city's gates, thrown open by conspirators, symbolized the fragility of Roman influence at a time when victory seemed anything but certain. Tarentum's dramatic fall would remain a case study in the power of cunning alliances, shaping the legacy of Hannibal Barca as one of history's greatest tacticians. Thank you for following Hannibal's Gambit, the Battle of Tarentum 212 BC. We've immersed ourselves in the intricate webs of espionage, the volatile politics of southern Italy, and the unrivaled brilliance of Hannibal Barca at a turning point in the Second Punic War. If you've enjoyed this thorough exploration, please like, share, and subscribe to stay connected with upcoming deep dives into ancient warfare and pivotal historical events. Beyond just another siege or city capture, Tarentum's story underscores how intangible factors like loyalty and morale, can determine the course of empires. Hannibal's shift from pitched battles to infiltration strategies reshaped Rome's approach to internal security. The world of 212 BC was never the same after Tarentum's walls were breached. As you reflect on these events, remember that even the mightiest states can be shaken by a single stroke of genius or a single open gate.